Solana, one of the most loved cryptocurrencies out there, is at a buy zone. A buy zone that's only happened twice this year. We're going to have Tyler Hill come on the channel. He has his own channel, which we'll link right underneath this so that you can go follow him. We're very close to 1,000 over on his channel. Also, if you want to trade Solana, there's a link underneath the video to Margex. You can trade Bitcoin. You can trade Solana. You can trade the Bitcoin chart with Solana as collateral if you want to gain more Solana, but you want to trade Bitcoin. So definitely check that out underneath the video. They're also doing a huge Caspa airdrop right now, up to $5,000 in Caspa tokens. All you have to do is start trading with that link underneath the video, and you can get started earning some of those tokens. But let's get over into the content. We have a problem. Tyler is at 900 subscribers on his channel. We need him at 1,000 at least. So let's just start by going down there, click that link to Tyler's channel, and then 3, 2, 1. Okay, we can start talking about Solana. Tyler, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you feeling about Solana right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm also feeling good. You know, this market's been quite aggravating. Don't get me wrong, and I think there's been moments where Solana could definitely make good moves, and it's kind of been dragged back by the market. But at the end of the day, realistically, we're not in altcoin season. We're in Bitcoin season, and Bitcoin's impacted by the broad market a ton. And so it's just kind of a victim to the market. But I think that this is going to turn out to be a fantastic opportunity for most people. And so I'm still pretty optimistic.
Awesome. Yeah, we were talking about it right before we jumped on here. You're feeling pretty good about the spot Solana's in now. I also saw you're buying. Maybe you can talk about that and where Solana's at right now. That support.
Sure. Yeah. So let me go ahead and let me share screens real quick. So where we're at for Solana is actually a very good spot, not only just from a technical perspective, but also just an ecosystemic perspective. You know, one thing that I've really kept an eye on recently for Solana has been TVL. Now, without going too far into detail, obviously, TVL can, be defined as total value locked, which is overall the amount of assets that are locked or staked within an ecosystem. People usually consider the higher the TVL of an ecosystem or a blockchain, the safer it is, the more popular it is, just the bigger it is, right? And what I pay attention to is the TVL of Solana because it's extremely important. Solana is an ecosystem that grows the most because of the ecosystem. More people who are using it, creating meme coins, investing in the Sol token itself, building stuff on chain. That's what fuels the growth for Solana. And while the ecosystem is growing, the opportunity for Sol's price to continue to go higher, that continues to grow. And what we can see is that even in this time in which Solana's price itself has been rather flat, we've been flat since March of 2024, and flat is a bit of a bold word considering the fact that we're down 30%, but overall general structure is flat. And in the time in which we are setting these kind of flat highs, flat lows, we have been seeing TVL continually putting in higher highs, higher lows. And it's a very good thing because the ecosystem is continuing to grow even though the market's not performing well and even though Sol's price isn't doing much. And that goes to show that it's self-sufficient, which is a good thing. Now, from a technical perspective, I have been consistent in the fact that I've said, listen, Solana most recently just broke the 618 to 786 macro Fibonacci zone from its bull market high down to its bear market low. What this means is that historically, when Solana's price is capable of breaking the 618 to 786 Fibonacci zone, it opens up the door for a move to its macro Fibonacci's to the upside, oftentimes surpassing that previous high, usually putting in moves to what could be, 1.272 fib extension, sometime even higher. And so what needs to happen is whenever you have a zone of resistance that is this strong and is this important, you need to be able to hold support on top of it. You need to be able to flip a point of resistance into support. That's why an RS flip is such a popular thing within the world of trading, because you need to find that foundation and establish it to be able to continue higher. And where Solana's at right now is it's doing just that. We broke this macro zone of resistance, and we've been sitting directly above it, consistently, successfully holding support on top of the 786 zone. And so because of that, where we are right now is we're building a foundation, we're building support. The market is being slow, but Solana's handling it well. Its ecosystem is still growing. I don't see a reason as to why when this thing does turn around, which I do believe will happen, we can't see Solana really use this foundation and use this ecosystemic growth to really take off back in the upwards direction to some of those higher breakout targets that I do have. So it's... When you look at it from the 4 hours, the 1 hours, the dailies, it feels different. But when you look at it from that perspective, it's kind of just hard to argue that it's still in a good spot.
Obviously, Bitcoin dominance has been on like an endless upwards trend. And especially recently, it seems like there are less and less small cryptos, whether it's meme coins or new launches or anything like that, that have done well. I know for a while, I had seen even large creators talking about how they are taking profits from smaller coins and then putting it into Solana or AVAX, for example, and kind of instead of putting into Bitcoin, like rolling it into that and then eventually taking out, cashing it out or putting into Bitcoin later in the cycle. Do you think that is bound to happen more? And do you think that's kind of like a tailwind? Or do you think since Solana's been up so much, people will kind of like look to get out of that earlier, and then go put it into Bitcoin? So maybe it gets hampered almost by its success.
It definitely is going to get hampered by its success, right? I think that Solana's best performance is behind it. And, you know, this thing was at $11 at one point. You know what I mean? And now we're up $150, finding support at $130. And so I definitely do think that the people who are going to be in pursuit of 10Xs and 20Xs should go somewhere else. It's obviously not the place. Do I think Solana is a good, easy, stable 3X or 4X? Yeah, I think that's rather simple. You know, I personally would prefer a Solana right now over a Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin is still in its time. Bitcoin dominance is still going up. Bitcoin is in the moment right now where it is outperforming the rest of the market. But everything is cyclical in crypto. At some point, we're going to see Bitcoin's, you know, excitement or hype and outperformance transition to altcoins. And so if I can get a stable 3 or 4X, which I don't think I'm getting from Bitcoin, I don't think we're going to see $200,000 a cycle. I obviously would prefer Solana. And so for the people who are looking for like more stable, good gains rather than more risky, high gains, you're going to see them continue to funnel into Solana. And that's the reason why it's doing well. But for the people who have an appetite for a little bit more risk, but want that higher reward, Solana is not going to be the key choice for them. It's not going to be the most exciting crypto of this cycle. It doesn't have to be. For the people who are up 1,500% in the last year, those are the ones who are the most excited. And so, yeah, I think it can be hampered a little bit, but I think this people, again, in pursuit of stable, easy 2-3X, I think they're going to still be buying.
Yeah, and obviously there's still a good amount of volatility with it where you can get some nice big swings, even if we're just kind of stuck in the sideways market. It went down to 100, 110, something like that, and then it went back up to 180 something. So it's at this interesting point where it doesn't seem like it's going away. Like, who knows, the 30th crypto down the list might not be here in a couple of years. But Solana seems like it's really cementing itself as probably the number one like quick chain out there. A lot of people like it a lot more than Ethereum even. So you can still get that 5X or 4X or whatever, especially if you buy it at a time of pain. And Bitcoin isn't quite there, obviously. Like, we'd have to go up to 250,000 Bitcoin this cycle, which a lot of people's minds is difficult. But I saw that you were buying too. What are you waiting for? What did you wait for to start buying it?
Yeah. So, and it's kind of like you said, you know, and I'll go ahead and it's a little bit easier to visually represent. But again, where we are is what's important to me. And at this point in time in the market is fearful. I've said multiple times, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. I think that they're overreacting. I don't think this market's nearly as scary as people are making it out to be. And so, of course, that's one trigger for me. That's just going to make me buy. But secondly, look where we are. I'm not a type of person to try to guess what history is going to do. All I can do is just examine what's happened. And what's happened is that every single time Solana's come back down, even remotely close, within $93 to $120, $130, establishing support on weekly candles around the zone, it's turned out to be a phenomenal time to buy. I mean, like you mentioned before, look at this. I mean, to be in a moment in which you can catch a 63% gain there, in which you can catch, you know, a 45% gain there, you can catch off of this one a 59% gain there. Yeah, that's a good way to keep just racking it up. If you're on 2-3x leverage or 5x leverage, those are big gains. And obviously, you're not going to catch the very bottom and the very top, but those are still big gains. If you go down to something like the daily charts, for example, if we turn on the indicator, I mean, look what's happening now. We had one time we got this buy zone pop up as we started to hit our key zone here. Now we just got it again, which is really what triggered my new bout of purchasing. This is why I did start doing buying, because I saw this daily buy zone pop off. And you can see, last time we got the buy zone going off, we saw this thing rally up 50%. The time before that we saw it go off, we saw it rally up 160%. The time before that was way down here. I don't even need to show you the percentage that this was. The time before that was before here to here. So you can see it. Everything is pointing to say that this is a good buy zone, and that's why I'm going to continue to buy.
Yeah, and that's only popped up twice this year or so. Yeah. We'll have a link to that underneath the video too. It'll be one of the top couple links if you want to try that out. But yeah, Tyler, I think that's a great place to end it. I really appreciate you coming on. Again, we need to get him up to 1,000, over 1,000, because he has a lot of great content. Any final thoughts on the market?
Don't fall for it. That's where I'm at. I think people are trying to make it sound more scary than it is. And I think there's some people out there who's like, I feel like I'm only scared because that guy's scared. I'm not. I just don't think that this market's as scary as it's going to be, and people are going to regret how fearful they were, because I think people are going to look back and be like, why were we in fear for 33 days? Like, what really happened? I don't think much. So I might be wrong. This market might crash. I might lose my butt, but it is what it is. I don't think so. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think we're taking a pretty good bet right now, but make your own decision. Of course, like I said, Tyler's link is underneath. The link to Margex is underneath. The link to that algo as well is underneath. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.